Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty joining us right now. Senator, obviously President Zelenskyy made it very, very clear, I need air support. He said, close the sky over Ukraine. Is there a way of doing that without providing these big fighters that he wants or air support in general? How do we do that?
Well, Neil, he was very clear with us a couple of weeks ago when he met with senators over a Zoom conference, and he's remained very clear that he wants as much support as he can possibly get. I don't blame him one bit for asking, but he also knows and acknowledges that that would be very difficult for us to do as he has requested. You heard Senator Risch say that there are ways to provide support from the ground that would have much the same effect. The javelins and the stingers are having a very impactful results right now with the Russian army. So that is sort of the spread, if you will, in terms of what's being delivered versus what is being asked.
So where you're coming from, Senator, dealing with some of these other anti-aircraft weapons and the like, but not aircraft, you would be against that?
At this point, I've trying to get to the bottom of how the administration has responded to the request for MiGs. Poland could have delivered those MiGs directly. They chose not to. They chose a different path, putting it at a military base, a U.S. military base in Russia. Then we had Secretary of State Tony Blinken greenlight that, and then the next day, the Pentagon walked that back. I've reached out to get a classified briefing on what's driving that decision, but I think we need to be very careful as we move into this realm because we're dealing with a very unpredictable leader in Vladimir Putin who has a very large nuclear capacity.
So your position, and you've stressed this and been pretty consistent on it, to go the air route, in other words, to go into a no-fly zone and test it, is akin to bringing us to the brink of World War III. Do you still stand by that?
I think it adds extra risk to the equation. Right now, we're watching Vladimir Putin in a situation that he didn't predict. I can only imagine that when he met with President Xi at the opening of the Olympics, that he told Xi this would be a very quick experience. We'll be out in a few days. We'll divide NATO. We'll get the United States hung up. And by the way, we'll cut a very favorable gas deal with you. Xi agrees to that, but tells him, look, we got to wait till after the Olympics. Putin goes in the day after the Olympics and he finds something he wasn't expecting. And that is a very aggressive Ukrainian public. He's bitten into a porcupine. This didn't happen in a couple of days. The Ukrainians have risen up. They fought back. And President Zelenskyy is a great communicator, Neil. He's actually captured the imagination not only of Ukrainians and inspired them, but of people around the world. We've been locked down for more than 2 years. We've been deprived of our liberty, of our freedom, and we've seen Zelenskyy and the Ukrainians step up and fight for their liberty and their freedom. So everybody's inspired, everybody is supportive. The question is, how do we do this in the most effective basis?
All right, everyone's watching China, as you know, Senator, and if it were to offer military help on top of perceived economic help, that would be, that would be a red line. Now, would you recommend sanctioning China if it, for example, buys the oil from Russia that it can't sell anywhere else? Is that enough to warrant sanctioning China?
Neil, I think this is something we need to be looking at very carefully. I am looking at putting secondary sanctions on the Russian banks, all of the Russian banks, and looking at putting sanctions in a way that would prevent an alternative payment system from being put in place so that China could do just what you describe outside of the normal payment system. We need to be looking at all of those areas, and I am completely in favor of moving further in the sanctions field to, again, choke off Vladimir Putin's war machine. We've actually been funding it ourselves.
Does that include, Senator, I'm sorry, I wasn't clear, does that include China paying for Russia's oil?
To the extent that they use Russian payment systems, absolutely.
Okay, got it. Senator Bill Hagerty, thank you. Very good seeing you again.
Thank you, Neil. Great to see you, too.